Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Are you thinking about starting a business? The UAE might just be the perfect place for you with an incredible location, strong support for businesses and lots of opportunities. Entrepreneurs here can thrive. Today's guests, Mr. Golden Visa himself and Mr. Sahel from Decisive Zone are back again to discuss business setup in the UAE. Welcome guys to the show. So excited to have you back.
Thanks for having us again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's jump into something. Why should people set up a business in the UAE?
Do you want to start off with this or should I?
Go for it.
Okay, I mean, see, there's again, like we've been discussing, Dubai has become the land of opportunity, right? You do see a swift movement between, so it's become the hub of business on the eastern side of the world, where all of the business that was initially going through from the west to the east, it has to stop off in Dubai now. So Dubai becoming a hub and attracting investors for that reason, it's a land of opportunity. There used to be the American dream. It's still hopefully alive. Now we have a Dubai dream. That's booming right now.
Well, Dubai also does definitely offer the ease of doing business. And not only connecting east and west, more than that, the living in Dubai, how safe it is. And still, it is one of the lowest tax country in the world. It's only 9%. Now, that's one of the reasons, if you look at business side of things, why maximum number of millionaires are moving to Dubai. The data just came out yesterday again, India and China, 6,300 plus millionaires are moving to UAE this year, in 2024 itself. That means Dubai has something massive to offer why these business people are moving. So definitely.
And so interesting. And what is the UAE doing to make it easier to set up businesses, for example, for people who are looking from abroad to come here?
Well, one of the massive change I've seen over the last 6 years, I would say, is digitalization of every way possible. Starting from setting up business to getting your labor card to doing your visas, they are trying to digitalize everything so that the process becomes faster. Now, that's one of the reasons that UAE has grown so quickly. I mean, I remember I gave the data, I think UAE issued, only the mainland of UAE issued 21,000 approximate new business set up in the first quarter, in the first half of this year. That itself is a massive number of licenses.
And would you say the UAE is a pro-business environment? And if so, how?
Of course, I mean, it is a pro-business environment, right? Like, if you take, for example, JAFZA as a free zone is become in terms of trade volumes, has become the most busiest port in the world in terms of containers and, goods that are flowing in and out of the country, right? So that being one of the main factors to facilitate trade, it has become one of those places where trade is actively happening. Trade is happening at a large volume. So if you want a piece of that pie, you have to be at the right place, and now is the right time to be here. You know what I mean? Because the government's making it so easy to be here. It's a simple, straightforward process. There's not too much confusion. So that's literally it.
And you touched on free zones there. Would you mind briefly describing what a free zone is for someone who's... I arrived in Dubai today. You're talking about JAFZA free zones. What are they?
So there's about 52 free zones in the UAE. Each free zone has its own specific sort of dedicated, business activities that they tend to focus and cater more for. For example, DMCC is more looking at precious metals, precious stones, etc., because the diamond exchange of the UAE is based out of the DMCC, right? So anyone looking to trade in that sort of a product would preferably want to be there, because that is the sort of hub for that sort of a product. When we're looking at trade businesses, people who are doing logistics, etc., they're looking at being focused and set up in JAFZA, for example, because that's the largest port available in the UAE. I mean, obviously there are ports in Sharjah and Ajman and all that, but like that is the right, that's the place to be, right? So if you're in logistics, that's where your target is. You're looking at trading, you need to be, based out of different free zones. So that's essentially what the free zones are made for.
And what about free zones in different emirates? What is the benefits of setting up in Dubai? I know you mentioned kind of location based, but other than that, are there benefits to setting up versus it might be slightly cheaper in Ajman or Sharjah?
Apart from just the cost, it is a case because some people want access to that market, right? So if you do want to have access to trade in, let's say, Northern Emirates, you would probably look at an Ajman or a RAC, because some facilities in RAC as a free zone, they would be a bit less expensive. I wouldn't say cheap because that's obviously not the right term, but they would be less expensive compared to something in Dubai, because then you would have to factor in costs of transport, you would have to factor in costs of delivering a product and having access to that market. So if you need access to a northern market in the UAE, it makes more sense for you to be based out of those regions rather than being based in Dubai. So,
but if you ever live the Dubai dream, then definitely you must set up in Dubai. And that's what I'm the biggest fan of. If you are here in this region, we all grew up seeing how Dubai has developed, and we always had this kind of dream. And that's why I personally recommend people, when they're moving here, instead of just looking at the small difference in the cost, should focus on, if they have a market in Dubai, they should set up in Dubai. It also gives you the easy access to rent a house, which is a massive thing, because your residence visa, if it is in another emirate, you can only rent in certain emirates. But having a residence visa in Dubai, you can rent a house in Dubai. Your car number plate as well will be out of Dubai, not in any other emirates.
Interesting. So you've sold me on Dubai, for example, and now I want to set up my business. Talk to me about the different industries. What are the steps to someone, again, who's just arrived in the country today? Maybe they have their Emirates ID. How do they go about it?
Well, let's kind of consider a scenario when the person has just arrived, first time on a tourist visa. So the person has never been here, first time on a tourist visa, and sees an opportunity to set up a business. First thing first, they need guidance on where they must set up, which jurisdiction. Should they set up a business in the mainland or a free zone? This is the first thing we always try to figure out, whether it's a mainland business or it's a free zone business. Then the second most important thing is, what is the activity or what is the business idea the person has got? Based on, let's say, somebody has got an idea to bringing in flowers from different part of the world and setting up a flower shop here. Then what kind of license do they need? Now we dig deep even more, asking many questions to understand whether he just want to bring in the flowers and give it to the distributors, or he wants to bring in the flowers and set up his own shop. Based on this, we decide whether he can be in free zone or mainland. Then we already identify, okay, this person is going to distribute flowers. So we find the right activity based on his business. Then a massive challenge people face is to name their business. People, actually, if you think about this, people do overthink things, wherein in my experience of last 15 years in business is, you start with something that you really believe in and just start with a name. You can always upgrade or change your brand, or you can modify things. But naming a business is one of the major challenges we have seen in our clients. Once you have these things set, then we help you with all the documentation which is very basic. If it is your first time, all you need is your passport and you need a proper picture. With that and the forms that we help you fill up, we can get you the trade license. Then the next step comes to banking and corporate tax. Come on, Sad.
So now that you've got your trade license sorted, your documentation is done, right? Obviously, the next step would be getting your visas, getting your establishment card, Emirates ID, etc. So post getting your Emirates ID, that's where the real fun stuff starts, because that's where you have to be tax registered. That's where you go and try to open your bank account, because your Emirates ID essentially is the key to the whole thing. Right, so you could get your trade license, even let's say the scenario you mentioned, where someone already has an Emirates ID. A business license would be the sort of easiest part of the whole process. But then the second you have your Emirates ID, or if you have it prior to even applying for the license, that's what unlocks a lot of different avenues of getting things done. So like that's one of the main requirements for getting a tax registration, one of the main requirements for getting a bank account. and then so on and so forth. And then post that is just a case of any kind of, digital help that you may require to run your business or accounting, that sort of thing. That's where all of that comes into play as well.
Yeah, I must say Decisive Zone is a one-stop shop. We help you, we hold your hand throughout the journey of your business. We have got all different aspects of business in-house. We can even guide you through the marketing services to where you must be, where you should do your PR, media, how you can establish yourself in social media. We have got all of this covered in-house, especially having experienced all of this in the last 5 years.
So interesting, considering we're a hub of entrepreneurs. You've seen all of the businesses start in the UAE, which is just wild, the inception, and you said you work across the marketing as well.
Yes.
So you have people coming to you with a dream and they have a passion and maybe they have the money, but where would you say, in your opinion, would be maybe the biggest mistake entrepreneurs are making in Dubai when they're trying to set up a business?
I would honestly speaking, based on my experience, it's a case of not knowing what you want to do, because a lot of times entrepreneurs are saying that, okay, I want to set up a drop shipping business, or I want to set up a trading platform, or whatever they want to do, that's fine. But then when you ask them the details of their own business, and if you ask them to explain their business, let's say you tell them to do an elevator pitch, you have 10 seconds, explain your business, tell me what you do, right? That is where they fumble the most, because the vision in their head is, oh, I want to go to Dubai, I want to be a big entrepreneur, I want to have a startup, the whole flashbacks of Steve Jobs come into their head. But then when they actually want to talk about it, then they're like, and they're stumbling on their own idea. You know what I mean? So like that is, based on my experience, that is the first thing that I always notice. And if you don't have a clarity on your own idea, I think you need to like step back, just take a second, re-evaluate the whole entire plan, and then come back when you're guaranteed and sure of it, because that makes life easier for you and for us as well.
Yeah. As a CEO, I've got a little bit different experience, which I think I can share here. Wherein we always overthink things on how we want it, and we are our own critic. So we want everything to be perfect before we go out and able to sell our product, whichever product it may be. But when we overthink things, we may hold on to perfection or make the product really perfect, which may take years. But instead, something I've learned, if you have got a product, any product it is, as long as it is usable and solves a problem for somebody, you go out and you sell. And so once you start bringing in the revenue in, you can always upgrade and make your product better and better. You can always improve your products. And we have seen this in our experience, whether it's Apple or any other massive company around the world. Now that, I would say, if you have got an idea, you definitely take some professional help to make your product as perfect as possible, but go out and try to sell the product.
I love those insights so much. So define what you're doing and then just go for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting you touched on, people, they want the Dubai dream. However, we get a lot of people asking, is there restrictions on foreign ownership? Over the years, I think there used to be question marks over what you can and can't do in the UAE. Does that still apply?
No, there's no restrictions as such for most activities. There are still a few where you are required to have a local presence. Something like a law firm, for example, if you want to open a law firm in the mainland and service local clients, then you need to have a local individual on board who is a lawyer, who has the experience, and that's the only way you can get one of those licenses. Something like an auditing firm, also based again in the mainland. In the free zone, you can probably get it done, but an auditing firm, you have to have a local presence as well.
Who's a local auditor to be approved, to get approved from the Dubai court. But there are very, very limited activities that requires a local presence. 98 to 99% of the activities do not require any local presence anymore.
It's so interesting if anyone's watching abroad to make note of that. We've discussed the tax benefits, of course, we always do. How could we not? We're very blessed. But there are other benefits to setting up a business in the... There's no taxes. There are other benefits to setting up businesses in the UAE. What might they be?
There's cultural benefits. There's obviously, money is and does play a massive role in business. There's a cultural benefit because if, let's say, you're setting up a business in Silicon Valley, for example, right? You go up and that's known to be a place where every entrepreneur, every person with a startup dream wants to be based out of Silicon Valley, right? Especially if you're in tech, then it's a double, you really want to go there. Let's compare Silicon Valley to being based in the UAE. If you're setting up your company based out of Silicon Valley, you have only so much expansion in terms of cultural identity that you can probably mold your business to identify with. But if you're based in Dubai, the team that you're going to have on board, the interactions that you will have on a day-to-day base, that will allow you to mold your business for, to mold your business for regardless of where you're going to expand. You could have an expansion prospect based out of China. You could have it based out of Europe. You could have it based out of Africa, and even just in the GCC region itself. So you having that access to the cultural side of things makes it super easy for your expansion prospect. If you're being based out of the Silicon Valley, you're kind of limited to what they have to offer. You know what I mean? So like that plays a massive role, apart from obviously the tax benefits, etc. So I feel like that's one of the strongest points that I look at.
Yeah, and if you compare with West, setting up in UAE is now not only the tax benefits. I'll talk more on how the cost of labor is. Now, to the cost of labor in Europe, US, or anywhere in the West is way, way much higher than in UAE. And being in UAE, you even have got the quick access or easy access to Far East, whereas India, Pakistan, Philippines, Vietnam, and all the countries where you can set up your back office at a much, much lower cost than even in UAE. So being in UAE is a very strategical location which can help you not only to have access between East and West, but also to get much, much lower cost of labor.
Interesting. And would it be easy for entrepreneurs to connect in the UAE? Maybe we're nearly wanting to be the Silicon Valley of the Middle East. Maybe we'll just call ourselves, we'll make a new name. But do you see entrepreneurs meeting, connecting, forming partnerships, in your opinion?
Well, it's a lot. I mean, me personally, I get invitation at least twice a week to attend many, many, many networking events happening in UAE. Some of them are really, really good, where you can go and connect with who's who of UAE. There are certain ones which you get invitation on regular basis. There are certain ones organized by the media companies, certain ones are organized by the communities. So whichever part you come from, I'm 100% sure there is a Facebook community group. You join that group, or you join one of the community in LinkedIn or many different social media, whichever you use, you will find the right people you can connect with and give a boost to your business.
Right. Helping you to find the right people is, of course, Decisive Zone. How can anyone watching here today get in touch with you, and where can they find you?
Well, we are at decisivezone.ae. Also, you can directly WhatsApp us at +971 5535 05535. That's our direct number.
Thank you once again, Mr. Golden Visa, Mr. Sahil from Decisive Zone, talking all things Visa Talks on the Lovin Dubai show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Casey.
Cheers.
And tomorrow is none other than Pakistan Independence Day, and we are honoured to welcome His Excellency Ambassador of Pakistan, Faisal Niaz Tirmizi, who is the Pakistan envoy to the UAE, on the show to celebrate all things Pakistan. Thank you so much. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Cheers.